What about vaping? If you had a look at any of the science around vaping, it's kind of a little bit of a moral panic at the moment. If you look at certain areas of the ancestral paleo world on the internet, what's your thoughts on vaping and its potential dangers?
Let's come back to kind of the risk-reward matrix, right? So again, I view everything through this 2x2. So what's the risk? Is it closer to getting hit by a tricycle or getting hit by a train? And what's the reward? Is it picking up $1 or is it picking up a gold coin? So I think that I don't think we have sufficient data to say that it's getting hit by a tricycle. I don't think the industry is standardized enough to be sure that what is being inhaled is sufficiently clean. Maybe it is. Maybe some companies are better than others. I mean, we could talk about that all day long, but I'm not personally willing to put my trust in that market, in that infrastructure, in those companies whatsoever. So for me personally, this would be a no-brainer. There's no upside in it to me.
What would you be concerned about going into your body? It's not just the nicotine, it's the stuff.
Oh, no. Well, first of all, nicotine I love. Like, I'm all about nicotine.
How do you use nicotine in a safe way?
I would chew gum, or I use like a lozenge, or I chew, there's like these little patches that you kind of suck on.
Zyn pouch. What have you found is your favorite brand for those?
I'm blanking on the name of the brand. They come in a little round, colorful thing. I don't remember the name of the brand.
Got you. And are you using 3 MIGs, 5 MIGs?
Unfortunately, maybe I haven't bought in a while from these guys. I bought so many the first time by accident that I'm still living off the last 2 years worth. I literally just, like an idiot, accidentally bought 10 times more than I
like a prepper.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, they only come in 7s.
There's no way, dude.
You can't do it all at once.
That would be in my mouth for 30 seconds, and then I would have to take it.
Yeah. So I go in, out, in, out, in, out, and out.
Yep.
I think they have a 4 as well, which is a little bit more manageable.
Yeah.
But truthfully, I think 2 milligrams is sort of the right dose. 1 to 2 milligrams is probably the sweet spot.
And then you don't need to dick about taking it in and out.
Yeah. So no, to be clear, the nicotine is not the problem, right? It's just like with cigarettes. Nicotine is not the problem with cigarettes. Yes, there's an addictive component to it. The problem is the toxicity of the vehicle that's delivering the nicotine in the form of tobacco. Well, with vaping, I don't have any sense of what's happening when you have a heated metal filament that is burning combustible products, some of which I may or may not be inhaling through a filter. What I'm saying is not that I know there's something wrong with this, but I'm saying I have no confidence in that industry to regulate itself or our regulatory agency to regulate them. And therefore, because I don't know where it is on the risk parameter, but I definitely don't feel comfortable saying it's getting hit by a tricycle. It could be getting hit by, a small car. It could be getting hit by a train for all I know. It's just an unknown. And then, how would I justify it? Well, unless I felt that the reward matrix was picking up gold coins, it just doesn't justify it to me. So is that a moral panic? I don't think so. I think it's just saying, what's the risk reward trade-off for it?
Justified skepticism, perhaps. Another revolution that's going on at the moment, which I've been at the sort of front row seat of, has been alcohol and the reduction in the consumption of alcohol. I think people realizing it's no surprise that it's a really dangerous risk, but people who considered that 1 drink was okay, that 2 glasses of wine, because there's some resveratrol coming from the red grapes, etc., etc. I was a club promoter for a very long time. So I was in the trenches partying hard for all of my 20s, which is why your 90th to 100th year estimation, I think, is unfortunately going to be a little bit too generous. But I went sober for 6 months, really loved it. Most to do with the lifestyle changes, cognitive improvements, what it meant in terms of habit, in terms of consistency, energy, money, time, all that stuff. Came back to drinking, didn't like it. Went back to sober for another 6 months. Came back to drinking for a couple of months, didn't like it. Did 1,000 days sober. I never had an issue with substances, but just really loved what it had done for me. And, 5 years hence, 6 years hence now, the low and no movement seems to be really, really gaining speed. Is that so? Why is it so surprising? Why is it that something that ostensibly, obviously wasn't that good for us is now only just beginning to kind of get some momentum of people thinking, oh, maybe this thing that makes me feel like a total pile of dog shit the next day is something that I shouldn't take all the time?
I don't know. I can't speak to it. The only thing I could speculate is that with the with the rise of sleep trackers, I think you really have some objective data on the downside of alcohol.
Terrifying.
And I don't think anybody who's worn a Whoop who doesn't look at their heart rate variability pre and post alcohol consumption or the fragmentation of their sleep is not saying, what the hell?
It's insane. Why is it such an impact for the unindoctrinated amongst us? Let's say that you've got a heart rate variability of 70. If you were to have 2 glasses of beer or 2 small glasses of wine on an evening, finishing at 9 or 10 p.m. and then go to sleep on the night, it wouldn't surprise me if from 70, your heart rate variability is down in the 30s or the 40s. What is happening inside of the body that's causing that to happen?
So alcohol is metabolized into different elements, but one of the metabolic byproducts of alcohol is quite toxic. And I suspect, I don't know, but I suspect what's happening is the toxicity of that is changing the autonomic nervous system. So in what you want to be doing when you're sleeping is in a maximally parasympathetic state. That the so-called rest and digest state. And that's really what heart rate variability is measuring, right? Heart rate variability, along with other things such as heart rate itself and temperature, respiratory rate, are proxies for your autonomic nervous system. And anytime those things move in the wrong direction, so heart rate goes up, heart rate variability goes down, respiratory rate goes up, temperature goes up, all of those things happen when you drink. That, to me, is a very strong signal that something about the toxicity of the metabolic byproduct of ethanol is putting the body into more of a fight or flight response as opposed to a rest and digest response.
It's so hilarious that the thing that a lot of people use and has been used for a long time, I can't get to sleep, I'll have a glass of whiskey, isn't really aiding with sleep. It's just sedating people. Yeah,
that's the insidious thing about it, right? Is people confuse sedation, consciousness, and sleep. And I'd love to tell the glib anecdote, right? Which is like, if I hit you over the head with a baseball bat, you would lie motionless for 12 hours. But of course, there's no confusion over the fact that you are not sleeping, and nothing about that experience is good for your brain or your body in terms of rest and recovery. So yes, alcohol is very sedating, but it doesn't promote sleep in the way that we know sleep works in terms of its stages and its functionality in terms of healing.
What's happening, people? If you enjoyed that, then press here for the full, unedited episode. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace.